probably a lot of us meeting the student supervisors who we may not have encountered in the past from the various areas too. So what I'm going to do is share my screen, and hopefully everything will work well with the technology. And we're going to follow along through a PowerPoint that a couple of our staff who've been planning this event have put together. And each of our full-time staff during that PowerPoint have a chance to talk about themselves. And then we also have a brief spot within the agenda for all of our graduate assistants to introduce themselves, and also for student supervisors to introduce themselves. So again, we're looking forward to that, and let me know if this comes up and everyone can see me. All right, can everybody see an old-fashioned PowerPoint of what we're talking about today?
It says you're starting to share content, but it's still just gray. Oh, there it is. You're good, Lana.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Yeah, someone feel free to speak up. I really appreciate it. So we're calling this our orientation and training session. Many times in the past years, this would have been a big session where we've had even all of our student employees running through the rec center, or sometimes even doing sessions across campus, getting to see buildings, running around, learning things that way. But again, we're going to be doing it electronically here, and hopefully in an organized and relatively quick manner. So our goals are, again, to learn the people. So we want to at least be able to meet these 25 or so people that are here today. Oh, I should mention, we are recording this session, so those who were unable to make it will have a chance to go back and watch at least what's been covered today. So we'll be meeting the people, we'll be seeing the places, at least a little bit, or hearing about them from the key staff that work in our areas. So you get a chance to know, like, what is the physical space that we occupy as recreation and wellness, and how do we use it? You'll be hearing a lot about our policies, because it's really important for us to cover at least those top level things that do impact us, and the ways that we have to do things throughout campus as well as within our own department. So you'll hear from the staff again who are primarily responsible for those various different aspects of operation. Practices also, we'll delve into that just a little bit, where you actually will get to see how to do certain things. There's no way in this short period of time we'll actually be able to train you and show you a lot of these things. So right off the bat, we do acknowledge that we know you're going to have to spend a lot of one-on-one time with your individual supervisors in order to actually learn those practices and get good at performing them, whatever they might be. And then at the end, we will be sending out a list to everybody of a lot of documents and links to places, or links to shared files and so forth, where you can find resources about the things we talk about today, and then a lot more instruction manuals and various other things, so that you'll be able to do your job in the best way possible this year. So I have a list that I've started already with our staff of what those resources are, but I'm anticipating as we go along, people might have questions, and we'll be adding to that list. So we haven't sent it out in advance of the meeting, knowing that there's probably going to be many more things to add to the list to make sure we send out to everybody as we start the year here. So as we go, please ask questions if you have them. I know it's a little hard with the meeting format this way sometimes, but don't be shy to jump in if you have questions, especially student supervisors and new GAs and everyone else for that matter. Make sure you ask them now, where you've got all of us and all of our attention to devote to you, and to try to find answers, or at least point you in the right direction, or find the answers ourselves and then share them with you. All right, so does anyone have any questions as we get started? All right. So, Dave, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thanks, Lana, and welcome everyone. I look forward to meeting all the new hires very soon, and come back to those who I haven't seen in a while. I'm not big into talking about myself, as Lana knows, and some of the folks that have worked with me for quite a while, but just wanted to share that I'm from Bowling Green. I've been in the department quite a while. I actually started working at the rec center as an undergraduate many, many years ago and have been with the department ever since. I do a lot with the rec center operations. That's my primary area. Lana, I don't see the slide with my, I don't know if it's just delayed, but I can't even remember what all was on it. But I know favorite foods, I eat about anything. Protein shakes are up there towards the top. I like to work out and do home improvement projects, and Ozark, Sopranos, Shawshank Redemption, Tombstone, some of the go-to TV shows that I enjoy. And as far as future plans or goals, really just trying to spend more time with family and enjoy it while I can, because my kids are already quite old compared to what they were just a couple of years ago. So trying to make the most of the time with the family when I can. But again, I look forward to working with everybody. And if I can be of assistance moving forward, don't hesitate to reach out.
Technology-wise, Dave, I do want to say I'm seeing your slide. Is anyone else seeing Dave's slide right now? Just so we can do a quick check here on where we are.
Yep.
I see it. I see it now, Lana.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
Steve, I like your cactus shirt.
Okay.
I'll wear it to the office one day. It's pretty slick.
Okay. All right. I'm going to click now onto the next slide for you to cover content-wise, Dave. So I have switched over to the Student Rec Center slide.
Okay. We don't see it yet, Lana, so there's a little delay, but I'm just going to
Okay.
talk some general information about the rec center for those who may not know. The building was originally built in 1979, but we had a nice renovation in 2014 that really touched most of the primary areas in the facility. It is a 4-level building, approximately 190,000 square feet. It's got a variety of things such as weight, exercise, and cardio equipment, indoor running track, 2 pools, sauna, hot tub, rock wall, sports courts. So a lot of different amenities that we offer. The building is open at no extra charge to full-time students. Part of the general fee dollars that students pay go into rec center access. For students who might not be full-time, there's the ability to purchase a part-time membership, and that will be done right at the front desk. The building is also open to faculty, staff, and community, so it's not just a student-only building. We do also have a varsity swim team that utilizes the facility, but aside from that, it's primarily used for drop-in recreation, which is nice. So that means it's a priority area for the general population on campus. In a nutshell, I mean, you'll hear more about programming, but we obviously do a lot of different programming and other unique things and events from the rec center. But those are some of the high points that I wanted to cover. Is there any questions about the rec center that I can answer for anyone who is unfamiliar? All right.
All right, I just forwarded the screen then on to Nasheed, so you can introduce yourself to us, and then we'll be ready to talk about the field house.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nasheed Bracey, Assistant Director over at the rec, at the Perry Field House. So I'm from Newark, New Jersey. Moved here about a year ago for work. Got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, master's degree in sport administration. Although I started in criminal justice, I actually, still when that was still my major, I still was actually working at the recreation at my old institution. So been in the game for going on 10 years, even though I looked a little young. Hobbies, basketball, football, almost anything sport related. Love gaming. I'm into YouTube content, being able to create what you want to put out there into the world. So I'm big on that. Favorite food, love ice cream. No matter how many diets I have, I will never cut out the ice cream. Binge watching. I love Martin. How I Met Your Mother is probably one of my favorite sitcoms as well. House Party, favorite movie of all time. Future plans. I want to become a director of my own recreation and wellness program. Additional fun facts. Just actually started my own YouTube channel, Twitch channel. So, yeah.
Thanks, Nasheed. Here is the slide about the field house. Is it coming any faster for anyone, by the way?
I got it pulled up over here, so like I can still
Great.
go. But so yeah, Perry Field House, we actually have pretty much two big sides of the house that we utilize: track room, three basketball courts, one multi-purpose court, indoor track. Turf room, we have the actual field, as well as batting cages in the back, so we have a lot of open space around. We do have meeting and conference rooms, not utilized as much as the track room and turf room, but we can have small events, projector, anything of a conference style that someone may seek. Normally, operations throughout the morning, we have ROTC, athletics are in here. We have adult fitness programs in here. Normally, towards the evenings, we have intramurals and or rentals. So pretty much any given day over at the Perry Field House is not the most routine. We kind of take things as we go along, but exciting when things are going on. Can be a little boring in the morning, but you know, we make it happen.
All right. Thanks, Nasheed. Next, we are on to Karen.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I am Karen Smith, the health educator. I'm working in the department for 10 years now, which has gone by very quickly. I assist Faith with the wellness initiatives, and I oversee the fitness programs that we have. Hobbies, kind of similar to what everyone else was saying. I love spending time with my family and friends. I've got 3 kiddos, twins, and a newly 5-year-old. They love being outside and are getting active in sports, so enjoy spending time doing that. We were able to escape to the mountains this summer, so that was wonderful. And that's my picture that I'm showing right there. Favorite foods, anything that has avocado, love it, especially sushi. Movies and shows, it doesn't happen very often, but I love the old school ones, Friends and The Office. So if we have any other takers on those, I can do quotes for days on either one of those shows. Plans and goals, I'm setting it high by embracing the chaos and surviving this year. Taking it day by day and just trying to focus on the positives and keeping an optimistic attitude. Additional fun facts. I already talked about my kiddos, but we just celebrated their birthdays. All 3 of them were born on the same day. So we had a fun celebration and went camping last week for that. But if you have questions on fitness or wellness, I'm happy to answer those and happy to get you acclimated to the department. We're happy to have you.
I have to say, Karen, I find it amusing that you think Friends and The Office are like old school kinds of shows, because to me they seem relatively new. Okay. So I'm switching the slide over to a little bit about your well-being programs. If you want to speak a minute or two on those, whatever you'd like.
Okay, yes. So Thrive is our comprehensive well-being initiative. BGSU, our mission is to intentionally prepare students and faculty and staff to lead meaningful and productive lives. And that's why Thrive was established, to provide free resources and support and programs to help faculty and staff empower them during their well-being journey. It does focus on all 8 dimensions of well-being that you can see listed right there. And you can go to our website, it's bgsu.edu/thrive, and get more information about each of these dimensions. We do collaborate with a variety of campus partners to be able to provide resources and support in these areas. And I did mention a few of the things that we have done in the past and things that we are hoping to be able to continue at some point throughout this academic year. So mental well-being and emotional well-being are a top focus, since we know that's a high concern for our campus community. So some of the things that we are dedicating resources to is providing mindfulness workshops and opportunities for faculty, staff, and students to learn more about the stress management skills, as well as some self-care events. We've got some specific health enhancement programs that we've offered, which are free for those to participate. And another key one is our Move for Your Mood sessions, which, Lana, if you go to the next slide, it kind of goes into a little bit more detail about that. So with exercise, we know that it obviously enhances our physical well-being, but through Thrive, we really want to focus on all the great mental health benefits that exercise provides. And we came up with our initiative, Move for Your Mood, to be able to educate and provide free opportunities for faculty and staff and students to be able to incorporate more movement into their day. So for the fall, we've got free movement sessions that we're going to be offered virtually through our social media outlets. We've been doing that throughout the summer and excited to be able to continue on throughout the fall semester. So short 30-minute breaks, which is what the recommended amount is for exercise, at least 30 minutes of your day to get up and move. And that's how we came up with our 2% campaign. That's that little logo that you see there, the 2%. We've got that on t-shirts, on our promotional programs, to just encourage everyone to go ahead and make that time to really reap the benefits that exercise can provide, physically, emotionally, socially, all the dimensions. But that is a quick overview of Thrive and Move for Your Mood. I encourage you to go to our website to check it out more. And if you do have questions or if you're interested in getting more involved with it, please let us know.
All right, Chris, you are up.
All right, my name is Chris. I am overseeing youth and family and aquatics at the rec center. There we go. Born in Fort Worth, Texas, moved up here for school and then stuck around when I met my wife. I've been in aquatics for about 13 years, started in high school and just kept with it. I like writing, movies, reading, basketball, gardening, and then sushi, pizza, and Texas barbecue are my favorite foods. Probably my favorite movie is Count of Monte Cristo, and all the rest are very good as well. Let's see. I didn't really have a ton of future plans or goals, so I just put continue work for BGSU and keep doing that. And then fun fact, I checked this week. I have a movie tracker, and I've seen 2,800 movies, which comes out to about a movie every 4 days of my life. So there you go.
Impressive. All right, I switched over to the aquatic slide in case you can't see it yet.
All right. So I can't see it yet, but I have it right here. So first I'll go over the pools. Cooper and Andrews pools are the two we have in the rec center. Cooper is our Olympic-sized swimming pool, and that's where the BGSU swim and dive team practices. There's a 1 meter and 3 meter diving boards, as well as a 5 meter and 7 meter diving platform. And then we also have BGSU Club Water Polo and Club Swimming practice there, as well as other local swim and dive clubs. And then we also hold quite a few swim meets and water polo tournaments and late night events there as well. And then Andrew's pool is our leisure pool. It's a bit smaller and a bit warmer, and also has a 12-person hot tub. We typically hold water fitness classes there, as well as swim lessons. And then we use it for our birthday parties also. Then I'll talk about Learn to Swim just a bit. We offer Learn to Swim through Red Cross, and that's to swimmers of all ages, including adults and college students. Typically, we have mostly kids around the age of 1 to 10, but we do occasionally get those older people who are going to want to learn how to swim. And then this year, we're going to be limiting a little bit to change with the COVID stuff, but for now, that's still being developed. I'll also talk about the certification courses we have. So we do certification for lifeguarding and CPR through the Red Cross. Currently, our CPR classes are being scheduled, but we will have one at least to start probably every week for September, and then typically at least once a month throughout the year. We'll be doing blended learning for both our CPR and lifeguarding classes. So essentially, anyone who needs to take it, including student employees, are going to do a majority of the class online, and then they're going to come in for a shorter period in person. If you have any more questions about certification classes, feel free to email me and I can give you more information on that.
Our next slide was about Falcon Fitness. I don't know, Karen, if you had anything else to add. You already gave a really nice overview of much of your programming.
Yeah, I can go over that quick.
Great.
So Falcon Fitness, we serve a very diverse population. We've got programming that is available to the students, faculty, and staff, but we also have specific programming available to older adults and community members. We have our group exercise classes, which there is a small fee to participate in those. Once again, it's open to anyone. They pay for it, and it provides unlimited access to all the classes on our schedule. This fall, we're offering a hybrid of in-person classes down in Studio B, which is our large fitness studio at the very bottom level of the rec. And we're going to be offering classes via Zoom. The first week of this semester, the classes are free for those to try them out. And then if they wish to continue, they can purchase that pass up at the welcome desk. This semester, things are going to be different, requiring them to sign up for each class that they are going to be participating in, because we've got limited spaces down in the facility. We also have certified personal trainers that provide one-on-one individualized exercise guidance. I'm still working on the details of that for the fall semester, but in addition to providing it in the facility, also looking at virtual training options for the students or faculty and staff that will be off campus. Throughout the year, we do different fitness challenges. We are sponsored with the Army ROTC to be able to offer those. I mentioned our Move for Your Mood. Those are our free classes that we're doing virtually. And we've got a great staff. All of our staff, they are certified in a nationally accredited fitness certification and do have the first aid and CPR. If anyone is interested, in addition to their wellness programs, but are interested in helping out with fitness opportunities, don't hesitate to reach out.
All right, next up is Thomas, who I believe is not on the call today, but he works with our outdoor program. So you can see a little bit about him. Dave, did you need to add anything from Thomas's side of the world?
He's very knowledgeable in what he does, and I think he's a nice resource for us. So similar to what Karen was mentioning regarding some of the Group X and fitness, when we talk about his areas such as the climbing wall and outdoor programs, with the climbing wall specifically, we offer a free week at the beginning of each semester to allow students the ability to test the wall, see if they like it, because also similar to group exercise, we do charge a separate fee for use of the climbing wall. So there's a climbing wall specific pass. But in addition to that, Thomas works with a lot of groups for team building opportunities, climbing rentals, also some birthday parties. We do a lot with, or we were doing a lot with outdoor trips, but obviously with COVID, that's kind of just put on hold. One of the most successful trips that we do is called the Outdoor FWE, Freshman Wilderness Experience, where you get, I think it's up to about 15 to 20 incoming freshmen that get to go out and do various trips, whether it's hiking, canoeing, and whatnot. And they essentially spend a whole week together prior to arriving to campus and form those connections. And that's been a great opportunity for BGSU from a recruiting standpoint. And it really gives us the ability to connect with campus prior to arriving. And it's also been a great feeder program for our outdoor programs. And it's enabled us to hire a lot of those folks as our climbing wall attendants and trip guides and things of that nature. So, but Thomas does a great job. He makes his own pickles and apparently has a mean beef Wellington. So that's good to know. I did not know that about Thomas, but hopefully you all get to meet him soon.
All right, we are moving on to Faith next.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Faith DiNardo, pronoun she, her, hers, and I am the director of the Wellness Connection, as well as the co-director of our Center for Violence Prevention Education and one of the deputy Title IX coordinators. So I am from Toledo, so not far from here from BG. Yeah, I've been at BGSU for 13 years now. As Karen said, time flies on by, so it's hard to believe it's been that long. But, kind of similar to what other folks have said, spending time with family, music, traveling, safety is a big hobby for me. I love safety education. As far as foods go, anything Italian and the Wood County Fair milkshakes are always a favorite. Certainly missed them this year. One of my favorite shows is the reality show Big Brother, which is on now, which I'm really excited about. I know Melissa and I watch that all the time, so it's a great kind of getaway, stress reliever. I don't know if it's a wellness thing, but Karen and I were on the same thinking path there, getting through 2020. So that's certainly one of my future plans, but love to host a podcast too. So that's definitely on my to-do list. Couple of fun facts from me. I've attended 2 Super Bowls and met several members of the Walking Dead cast, and one of whom you can see in that picture there, who plays Tara on Walking Dead. That was a picture with my husband, my son Maddox, and Tara from The Walking Dead at Comic-Con last year. So just a fun kind of picture there. So I'll talk a little bit about the Wellness Connection. Things are going to look a little bit different this year from a programming standpoint due to COVID-19, but typically we are conducting late night events. Unfortunately, those will have to be put on hold this year due to kind of that piece about not having large events, but certainly that's something that we look forward to and look forward to doing again in the future. We also have a nationally recognized peer education program, and so that's students educating other students on a variety of different health initiatives. So whether that's stress or self-care, tobacco, safety, all sorts of different things, as you can see there on the slide. So that's kind of one of the main things that we're doing, as well as educating folks on a variety of different topics, whether it's through awareness weeks or months, or specialized events. And so we're kind of the hub for health and wellness education and programming for the university. A couple other things I wanted to mention, HIV testing. And so we offer free and confidential HIV testing. Actually, an outside agency comes in and does that, and that's on the first and third Wednesdays of the month. So what if faculty, staff, students, and community can participate in that for free. So wanted to make folks aware of that if you weren't already. And then working with Lana and her team to produce Stall Talk, which goes into our restrooms across campus with health and wellness tidbits of information. Certainly this year, as I mentioned, is looking a little bit different. Our wellness team is working as a part of the COVID-19 response team. So we will be working on contact tracing for the university and working through some of those things as we navigate the COVID-19. So you may be hearing some things about that as we move forward. Also wanted to mention some of our campus partnerships or partnerships initiatives. We couldn't do what we do without both campus and community partnerships. And so the director of the counseling center, myself, co-chair our BGSU Care Coalition. And so that is a group made up of campus and community folks looking at issues of alcohol and other drugs, mental health, sexual violence, transitions, whether that's from high school to college or transitioning out to a professional career, and also social justice issues. We also have the It's On Us campaign, certainly working with the Center for Violence Prevention and Education, as well as our Step Up and Step In bystander intervention initiative. So you may hear those things in regards to our partnership piece. And then we also have the Safe Communities Grant of Wood County. And so you'll meet Sandy here soon. And she is the coalition coordinator for that. So working in Wood County on traffic safety issues. So again, a lot of partnership initiatives that we have through the Wellness Connection, and certainly help us be able to do what we do.
Thanks, Faith. So I moved on to intramural sports. Nasheed, if you want to speak a little bit about what's going on this year with intramurals.
Rat sorority leagues, co-rec competitive, as well as co-rec recreational, open leagues to just anyone who wants to come in and be active. But this year specifically, we will be focused on a virtual intramural program. So far, we have some of the most popular games: Madden, NBA 2K, NHL, FIFA, as well as Call of Duty. Going forward, we will reach out. One of the first projects from Malik Osborne, GA of Competitive Sports, reach out to all past intramural sports participants. We've had around 1,200 last year. Reach out to all intramural sports participants and find out what are some virtual programming that students would like to see. So we're offering some, and we're also taking in some feedback that people want to see, and hopefully we can implement that going through the year.
Great, thanks. Now we are on to Bill. Hello.
Get it right. Nobody ever does, so no big deal there. So yeah, so look forward to meeting all of you. And I'm new here, obviously, at Bowling Green. I've been around a while, though, as you can see. But but anyways, so I've basically been involved with hockey most of my life. I grew up in Bay Village, Ohio, and I basically I was at Kent for 32 years, and I came as the hockey coach, and they dropped hockey in '94, then moved over to running the facility there at Kent State, working with club sports. I run hockey camps, and I also do work with USA Hockey. So I think the hobbies and the travel are all pretty self-explanatory. That was kind of funny on the movie or TV. I don't really watch, other than I watched a lot of hockey and I watched the Cleveland Browns. I didn't know how to put that on there, and I guess it's Seinfeld, because my wife, every time I'm channel surfing, I seem to stop there, and she says, "Why do you watch that stupid show? It never changes. It's the same show every time." So, it's like, so I guess Seinfeld would be my favorite show from that standpoint. Yeah, so I just love to travel, love family, and our kids are older, so looking forward, like I said, to meeting everybody and getting to know everybody in the department. So I like to be around people. I like to talk and hear your stories and that kind of thing. So regarding club sports, there's going to be a big emphasis put on club sports, and I'm very fortunate to come into a situation where things have already started and are improving, have been there and improving, and my goal is to build on what Nasheed and everybody else has done in the past, not starting over, like I said. But club sports, just so everybody kind of knows as to why. I mean, there's a lot of research out there, a lot of data, and having personally experienced starting a couple of hockey teams at Kent State, club sports can attract people to sports that are people are competitive or like to play, can attract somebody to a campus, and then equally or even more importantly, it'll keep them there. The significant higher retention and graduation rates of people who participate in sports, especially when there's more structure to them and they feel that they're more important. They're just not just kind of flying by, just going through by the seat of their pants. If you have some structure, if there's some scheduling, and that's what we kind of hope to do, can improve that part to make it a more meaningful experience. So if somebody does do something in high school, you would like to think that that's a step up or at least equivalent of a sport in terms of the structure that they had. And hopefully it can continue to do that, and like I said, continue and improve and even start some. So we'll really be working hard in the next month of really updating that website and having people go to it so that an incoming high school senior and their parents can get all that information for admissions, about the sport, the history of the sport, how it works. And then we'll certainly follow up with them and actively, recruit them to come to Bowling Green, because every person that you get is a potential 4-year student. And you put a dollar figure on them there, and a dollar figure, and if you get 50, 100, 200, it helps out a lot. And all departments, like we as a department get an allocation too. So if we can help with the enrollment, that'll help the department and everybody else on campus as well. So that's kind of the 2-minute version there. So.
Thanks, Bill. Melissa, you're up.
Hi, I am Melissa Lambert. I'm the senior secretary for the department. I also work with wellness a lot. If you have questions or need help and you're not really sure who to go to, I am the person to check with. I am from Waterville, Ohio, and I don't have my slide up in front of me. So I'm not sure what I had on there, but I'm waiting for it. I don't even remember what they were asking.
You can talk about anything you'd like about yourself. Everyone will be able to see the slide when it finally shows up.
I got it. So I've been with Recwell since 2011. I enjoy motorcycling, boating, and gardening. My favorite food is pizza, which is good because at late night events, we always have pizza. And I usually am the person in charge of ordering those. I love cupcakes and ice cream. You will all find out that I love sweets. My favorite movie or show, I would have to say, as Faith spoke of earlier, Big Brother. We're both really into that, and we watch that 3 times a week. That's kind of my getaway, and I like How to Get Away with Murder. It's a good series. Future plans are, I have family that live out of state, so once COVID is cleared, I am really looking forward to going and visiting my grandchildren. And I'm also looking forward to retirement, but I do have quite a ways to go, unfortunately. Additional fun fact is that I am a concert fanatic, and I also love the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of the students know that already, and a lot of people know that, but I'm a big Steelers fan. So that's it.
Thanks, Melissa. We're moving on to youth and family.
All right, so we have a kids camp that we run out of the rec center. It's held every summer for 10 weeks, and then also during the week of the BG City School spring break. Camp is for elementary grade kids and consists of field trips on and off campus, swimming every day, and various activities in and around the rec center, like rock climbing, going to the mat court, outdoor games, and plenty more. The camp is also based out of the youth and family room, located by the back door of the rec center. Unfortunately, we weren't able to hold camp this summer, but I am already starting to plan upcoming camp for next semester. And then also part of youth and family are birthday parties. We rent out parts of the facility for birthdays. Typically, they consist of an hour or a couple hours of an activity, and then the following hour in the youth and family room. So some of the activities we offer are Andrew's pool, the rock wall, and then the mat court. And currently those are not happening just because we're not able to social distance in some of those areas, but we're planning to get some stuff together with that and see if we can have the birthday party start up sometime soon.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the next thing we have scheduled is to finally hear from some of our graduate assistants. So I'm going to just call on one of you, and then maybe as we move through, if you know the name of another one, please call on that person. If not, we'll have Melissa, maybe you can help us out, keep track of who has had a chance to speak and who hasn't. But we'd love to hear from you just a little bit of the same kinds of things that we asked our full-time staff to provide ahead of time. What your undergraduate program was in and where you're from, your goals, any other fun facts, hobbies, etc. that you'd like to share with us. We would love to hear it. So why don't I start out with Tavola?
Hi, everyone. I went to Detroit Mercy for my undergrad, and I graduated pre-medical biology. I am currently a second-year master's student in the College Student Personnel program here in BG. I am with wellness and student employment. Some of the fun things that I've done this summer, I've also binge watched a lot of TV. It's probably really horrible about how much Netflix has been in the background of like my daily life. I also just got a kitten. She's adorable. She just got fixed yesterday though, so she's kind of crazy because of pain meds. So if she's like flipping around, that's why she's weird. My favorite food is also ice cream, also pizza, but I'm very specific with what's on it. So absolutely no pineapple. Don't want to offend anyone, but I literally can't. Um, what else? Oh, goal. I would really like to become a dean of students eventually, and or work in a Title IX program. I absolutely love that. Julia, do you want to go? I can't see your picture.
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks, Tav. So let's see. Julia Thatcher from Van Wert, Ohio, which is about an hour and a half from Bowling Green. I have worked with Reckwell since my sophomore year here at BGSU. I started out as an undergraduate front desk worker at the Student Recreation Center. After I graduated from my undergrad, I transitioned to graduate assistant of facilities at the Perry Fieldhouse. And now this coming year, I am back at the Student Recreation Center as the graduate of facilities here. So I've spent quite a bit of time within Reckwell. Hobbies. I also like to get outside, and anything that involves hiking or traveling of any kind is definitely something I'm interested in. I love to travel out west to the Colorado, Utah area. It's kind of my favorite. I also probably would say sushi is my favorite food. So it sounds like a couple of us need to get together and go get some sushi sometime. But I'm also a big breakfast food person. I like waffles for sure. Let's see, favorite movie or show. I'm not a big binge watcher of any kind. I'm actually not a TV watcher hardly at all. But I will say, Bill, that I am also a big Cleveland Browns and Cleveland Indians fan. So I guess if my TV's on, I'm typically watching a Cleveland sport. Future plans or goals. I'm an animal lover, so I have several animals at home, and I guess my future goals are to just continue to adopt animals and just have a house full of dogs and cats one day. And hopefully just work within the fitness industry in some capacity moving forward, whether that be within collegiate rec or more of like a clinical fitness facility. I don't know yet. Additional fun facts. Oh, I don't know. I'll just go back to I have a dog and 2 cats at home, so they keep me busy. Let's see other GAs. Malik.
Malik, we can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can everyone hear Malik? He's not on mute either. Okay. I'm not sure, Malik, if it's something on your end. I can see you, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Yep. All right. Well, my name is Malik Osborne. Originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. I got my bachelor's in sports management from BG. I started working in recreation department my freshman year as an intramural referee, and now I'm the graduate assistant for competitive sports. Some of my hobbies, I play basketball a lot. I love to play video games, and I love to go shopping. I love sneakers. Um, uh, my favorite food, I have to say, is probably chili or something. I can eat it any time of the year. My favorite TV shows, probably Breaking Bad is one of my favorite shows, Stranger Things, and also The Wire. I watch a lot of movies, so it's probably hard for me to pick my favorite one. Up there with Chris, how many movies I've watched in my life, and interesting facts. So I don't really know right now, but I'm looking forward to meeting you all, getting back to campus, and hope we have a great year. And I'm not sure if any other GA. I messed up my screen. I'm trying to work this WebEx thing, so I'm not sure who else is there. Braden.
Braden Sauter, the graduate assistant of facilities in the Perry Fieldhouse. If you can't hear me, say something because I've been having a lot of technical difficulties over the last week. Okay, cool. Trying to think of what everyone's been saying. I got my bachelor's degree from Bluffton University in sport management. I kind of knew the whole time that I was doing that because I wanted to get my master's degree afterwards. So I'm excited to be here at BG and have an assistantship and actually get to develop connections and just a good experience while I'm still going to school. Favorite TV shows. I don't know. I don't watch a ton of TV unless it's sports. So if there's a sport on TV, I'm watching it. Pretty much my entire life has always been revolved around sports. Favorite food, probably like chicken wings, preferably hot. But if I change that to sushi, and that means I'll get invited to the sushi date, then sushi can be my favorite food. Fun facts about me. I have 3 dogs, and all 3 of them share the same exact birthday. So that's kind of interesting, I guess. If I missed anything, let me know. I don't know who else is like a GA. Are we only doing GAs or?
Yes, for now.
I do not know who else.
Maddie, our fitness GA. You can go ahead and
there you go.
Up. Thanks, Braden.
Yep.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'm Maddie, like Karen said. I'm originally from Wapakoneta, Ohio. If you don't know where that is, Lima, Ohio, around the same area. Graduated from high school there, and then I went off to Heidelberg University in Tiffin, Ohio, where I got my bachelor's in exercise science. I also played basketball at Heidelberg, and now I am the fitness GA, and I plan to get my dual degree while I'm at BG, master's in kinesiology with a focus in applied sports psychology, and then also my master's in clinical mental health counseling. Let's see, favorite food, sushi. I'm not hopping on the bandwagon, I promise, but sushi is definitely my favorite. Favorite TV show, movie, kind of like everybody else. I don't really watch a whole lot of TV as it is, but if I am, it's sports or something to do with like crime series or documentaries, something like that. Right now, what I'm watching is the new series for.
I lost her. I don't know if anyone else did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Do we want to go on to Morgan, our new wellness GA?
Yes, that would be great.
Hello, everyone. If Maddie comes back, I'm happy to yield my time. My name is Morgan Alexander Coster.
Morgan, do you want to continue?
Yeah.
Sure. So like I was saying, my name is Morgan Alexander Coster. I am from Charlotte, North Carolina. I went to school at Appalachian State University, which is in Boone, North Carolina, in the Appalachian Mountains. I graduated with my bachelor's in political science, public administration. I spent the last 2 years working in the College of Business at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. And now I'm here, a first-year grad student for the College Student Personnel Program, like Tabla. I really enjoy cooking and baking, recently getting more into house plants. So that's exciting, I suppose, not necessarily gardening because we don't have a yard, but eventually gardening. I watch some TV, mostly I rewatch things on TV. So I like The Office, I like Parks and Rec. Currently I'm watching New Girl, but I also love anything on HGTV or Food Network. So if you're into that, we can chat about that. My goals are to get through my master's program and come out the other side of it a better professional and human being. And I guess fun facts about me. I have a cat and a dog. They're cute. And I got married 3 weeks ago and then moved to Toledo a week after that. So exciting things. I'm happy to be here with everybody. Great.
Yep, Morgan.
All right. Does that cover all of our graduate assistants, I believe?
Yes.
Okay, great. We had talked about wanting to take a break at the 1 hour point, and we are right exactly at it right now. So if everyone would like to, how about we say take 4 minutes, a 4-minute break? We'll start back up in 5 minutes because we do have a lot of, again, the policies and the procedures and things to talk about next, as well as introducing our student soups. So if everyone wants to take just about a 4-minute break and be back here by 5 after 3, we'll get started again. Welcome back again, everybody. I hope you got to stretch and move for your mood a little bit during that quick break. So we're ready to jump back in to talking again about policies, procedures, and those kinds of things. So to start off this last half hour, or last half of the meeting, we have Melissa and Dave speaking about some of the basic things that you probably have questions about.
Hello again. So the pay schedule, a lot of you are already aware, we get paid every 2 weeks. And right now people will be clocking in via the web clock, which I think they're going to talk about more later. I also want to mention about the Outlook calendar. It is very important that everybody uses the Outlook calendar and has their class schedules in there, any meetings that they have in there, just so that when I'm ready to schedule any type of meetings, it's much easier for me if your Outlook calendars are up to date. You don't have to share them with me, only a few people I will ask to do that, but if you could keep it updated, I would greatly appreciate it. Also for the GAs, if you are working outside of your regular contract hours, which is something that your supervisor would ask you to do, you will be paid hourly for that, but you would need your supervisor's permission and approval to do that. So I just wanted to kind of cover that. Also, I did do some e-hires for some people, some new GAs. So I would encourage you to get your onboarding with student employment done as soon as possible so that we can get you paid for the time that you're going to be working. So the sooner you can get that completed, that would be great. Does anyone have any questions as far as those few topics before Dave picks up from here? Okay, Dave?
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that BGSU's academic schedule is going to look a little different this year. So starting at Thanksgiving, the student population is, we're going to go virtually remote from that point on for the rest of the semester, which means my guess is a lot of students are going to vacate campus between those times. So although there might not be as much in-person work to do, it's still expected that graduate assistants would, if they're not on campus, work remotely. They're 20 hours a week over that time period. And also our building hours and everything else to the public will be drastically different over that period of time as well. So the best bet to do is when we get closer to November, just start being in contact with your supervisor. And each of us have unique jobs and responsibilities. So I think the best bet is just to talk with your supervisor as that time comes. But just wanted to make you aware to keep your eyes open for late November. As far as staff schedules and work sites go, it kind of relates along the same lines. Everybody's got some work that could be done remotely, some could be done or might need to be done in person. Again, just work with your supervisor to determine what your work schedules and your work site locations might look like. Again, it's going to vary for everybody, but communication with your supervisor up front is going to be paramount. I don't know if there's any other questions about any of these topics that we can provide some clarity on. No?
If there's no questions, then we'll head on to hearing a little bit about Deb.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Deb, and I'm the fiscal coordinator here. So I deal with the money and paying the bills, and we prefer the money coming in and not going out. So don't spend a lot of money. So I've been at BGSU since 2006, and I just came to Reckwell last June. So I've got my first year down. My husband and I, our hobby is beach travel, although I can only put my foot about up to my ankle into the ocean. I don't like that part of it. We're going to Cancun to celebrate 5 years in November, hopefully. My favorite food is anything that I don't have to cook because I hate cooking. And we just finished, actually, Nurse Jackie. Now, if anybody has something that they can suggest that we start on next, we're total next Netflix freaks. And my plans or goals, I'm going to go visit my granddaughters, Alice and Cleo, next week in DC. And I'm really excited because I haven't seen them since December. They were here at Christmas time. And I've been to Hong Kong Disneyland 4 times with my granddaughters. That's it.
Thanks, Deb. We're on to the next slide. And I think Dave was kicking it off.
Sure. Wanted to just make a quick statement regarding the importance of customer service, especially right now. Let's make no mistake, we are a service industry, and we have users from youth all the way up to senior citizens and everything in between. And what we do from a customer service standpoint is vital, especially now with COVID, because there's so many people have different questions that they're going to need answered. There's a lot of questions that we don't have concrete answers to right now. So the ability for us and our student staff to be able to effectively communicate and provide excellent customer service is going to be crucial. Keep in mind, our customers give us the ability for our operations to exist. We are an auxiliary, so we don't receive enough general fee dollars. Sorry, I had a call coming in there. We do not receive enough general fee dollars to support our budget, which is why we have to sell memberships and programs and do a lot of other creative things to generate revenue. But when we are communicating with our customer base and our peers, with the face coverings that we're wearing now, it's going to be even more important than ever to make sure our body language is giving positive cues. obviously verbal cues are important, but our body language is also going to be just as important. So the way that we stand and greet people is going to play a huge role in the success or failure of our customer service. The biggest thing that I've taken away over the years is just being attentive and listening to the customer and having empathy for them, because oftentimes they're going to generate or share some concerns that they may have. It is okay not to know answers, but we need to make sure that we have appropriate follow-up with these patrons or with your supervisor, so your supervisor can then follow up. So the last thing we want to do is have a patron express a concern or customer service need, and then you say, oh yeah, I'll have someone follow up, and then that never happens. We are going to get repetitive, the same questions a million times a day from a lot of different people. So we need to make sure that we are just mentally prepared to answer the first inquiry with the same, use passion on the first inquiry and answer with passion on the 100th inquiry. And I know it's going to be redundant, but at the end of the day, the way that we communicate, it makes a huge difference. Word gets out. From your own personal lives, I'm sure you can rattle off the top of your head that you've received poor customer service, and we definitely don't want that to happen to us in the age of social media and everything else. So that's my little 10-second soapbox on the importance of customer service. But again, when you have your staff trainings coming up this week, please implore your staff to really pay attention to the customer and provide them the level of service that we expect.
And I'll just add a couple of things here, especially as we're living in a much more virtual world now. Some of our interactions, maybe not be face to face, and so we may be getting a lot more email, phone calls, those types of things as far as communication goes. And we want to be very responsive to our customers, whether those are students, faculty, staff, or community members. And so, I know folks are working various schedules. So if you do get a question and you're not able to answer at that time, making someone else aware of that. So those folks are getting answers in a timely manner. We don't want to sit on something for days and not respond to someone. And so, just thinking about those responses, and then how you respond to people too. I mean, Dave kind of touched on this as far as customer service goes, but being professional in leaving phone messages or email contacts or whatever that might be, thinking about that in a very respectful and professional manner. Certainly, we will be working with folks who aren't happy, right? And folks who have questions or feel like they're just not happy with whatever the situation is. And so just thinking about that and trying to be calm and professional in how you respond to those folks. And certainly that's why we have our supervisors and professional staff around. So if you feel like you're in a situation in which things are escalating, you can always ask for help with those types of things. So want to make sure that folks know that. And, things inevitably will go wrong, right? And so we've all experienced that, and especially as we navigate in this very uncertain time, we can't necessarily predict what is going to happen or what questions folks will have. But I think the thing we want to drive home here is that if something does go wrong, letting folks know as soon as you're aware of that, because the longer things go without attention, the worse the situation will get. And so we want to make sure, if something goes wrong, just be honest and open and just say, hey, this happened. It happens. We're human. Those things are going to occur. And so we just want to make folks aware that, when things do go wrong, letting folks know so we can try to work to alleviate that situation. Lana?
Yep. Then I just have a little bit to add with this probably actually brief list of the many different ways that we are communicating with each other electronically, making sure that you are just aware of all of them. I'm not going to speak really about any of them now, but just knowing those are all on the table as ways that you can communicate, not just with our customers, but especially with our employees. and making sure that you're taking full advantage of those, learning how to use the different platforms. We can see already WebEx is presenting some challenges for us today. So we'll be exploring probably some other ways of doing some meetings like this in the future too. So keep us in the loop if you learn of other ways to communicate, especially with our staff, because those are going to be very, very important this year to make sure that again, all those things that Dave and Faith just mentioned, that your students understand those things as well and are able to act accordingly. We'll also be providing, I've got a note there, the phone list for all of the people within this meeting here and some other key external contacts, so you have information on how to get in touch with those people moving forward. Next, we just want to talk a little bit more about COVID and what that is presenting to rec operations.
All right, so really quickly, everyone's probably heard many times by now, but first and foremost, if you're experiencing any sort of symptom, you should not report to campus. And that's obviously campus-wide, not just a RecWell thing. While face coverings and wearing face coverings are very important, the physical distancing is the most important aspect. So again, when you're on campus and working around folks in general, you want to have the face covering on, but also maintain at least that 6 foot of distance. Face coverings are required on campus at all times while indoors. That includes now, even at the rec center, when you're actively involved in exercise. The only exception to that would be if you're swimming in the pool. Obviously, when you're eating and drinking, the mask face covering would come down as well. I will highlight, though, that there are, for faculty, staff, and students, there is a face covering exemption form that can be submitted online, and that if you're faculty and staff, that exemption would be reviewed by HR. If you're a student, it goes to Accessibility Services. And just so we all are aware, if anyone is granted an exemption from the face coverings, there will be a memo provided to the individual that they can then show to a staff member if and when approached. So at least in those cases, there will be a way to validate. As of now, and I do not think there's any momentum to move forward with it, we have no way of validating or verifying if a community member is exempt. So the way that it was instructed to me just earlier today essentially was everybody needs to be wearing a face covering of some sort. And if they have a pre-existing medical condition that would prevent them from wearing a face covering, in reality, they really shouldn't be exercising if it were that bad. So bottom line, I was essentially told that everybody should be wearing a face covering when utilizing our facilities. Ben Beatty brought up a great point in one of his meetings, and Ben Beatty is the safety officer, I forget his official title, health officer, I think, for the university, but he reiterated the point that even if you were, as an individual, were to touch something that had COVID on it, as long as you washed your hands prior to touching your eyes, nose, or anything else, you're not at risk. So just again, a reminder to utilize the hand sanitizing stations and washing your hands frequently, especially in the environments that we're in, where we have several patrons visiting our facilities each day. From a cleaning perspective, the university has upped their cleaning protocols. Campus operations really has been spearheading that effort, but in addition to campus operations, we as RecWell have our own cleaning protocols in place, and on average, we're hitting most of our high touch points about every 2 to 3 hours a day, which I think is great. As we look more closely to our own specific facilities, I'll focus mostly on the rec center at this moment. We are only allowing entry to the rec center to happen from our front doors. Last year, we had a secondary entrance at the back that it was unstaffed entrance that people could validate themselves and come in. We are now only using that as an exit point, so everybody is entering from the front doors of the rec center. Upon entry, they're going to need to sign a COVID-specific waiver that's new, and upon their first visit, they'll sign this waiver. They'll come on in. There's also going to be a temp scanner that basically looks like an iPod mounted to a frame, if you will, that will read someone's temperature. I'm still waiting to hear 100% if those are going to be required or if it's more of a voluntary self-check, but just know that the Perry Fieldhouse also has one of those in their lobby area as well. Additionally, in the rec center, we have relocated a lot of our fitness equipment. We've spaced that out to accommodate at least 6 foot of physical distance. We've relocated some of our equipment to basketball courts and other things just to, again, help with the distancing and allow more patrons to utilize our spaces. We've also removed a lot of our soft goods throughout the building, so maybe our medicine balls and our furniture and things of that nature, just to free up more space. And as I alluded to, we have reduced capacities in our activity areas. And I don't think those capacities are going to grow anytime soon. So we are going to be running lower capacities for the rest, I would imagine, at least the rest of the semester. The other thing that's important to note is if there is a employee or anyone in our building that tests positive for COVID, they consider close contact 15 minutes of accumulated time with the individual throughout that day, not just one exposure for 15 minutes or more. So that was something new that I learned just the other day. So when we have multiple employees working together, obviously we need them to be wearing their face coverings. We need them to maintain their distancing, but there's going to be times when they cross paths. Maybe they're, working together on a problem on a computer or maybe out and about in the building, moving some equipment around. We need to be very careful with our staff that they do not get close to each other for 15 minutes of total time throughout that day or that shift. Again, if someone tests positive and if I test positive, and let's just say Julia, for example, if she was around me for more than 15 minutes in that given day, she might have to quarantine for 14 days and be, off our schedule. So we just need to be cognizant of the impacts that this could have, not only on professional staff or graduate assistants, but our undergraduate staff as well. The other thing that I would like to just highlight, and it's on the BGSU webpage, is there's a lot of good information on the Return to Campus site. There's a COVID response team task force that I think Faith and Karen are going to be heavily involved in. And it's just important to communicate and know if you have any questions about COVID or you think you have any symptoms or don't know if you should report or not report, communication is going to be the key. And follow up with your supervisor on that. Or again, I'm confident that, I don't want to speak for them, but I'm confident that Faith and Karen are going to be well-versed in COVID practices here very soon. So I don't know, Faith and Karen, if there's anything else that you want to highlight on this topic.
I would just say if folks have some specific questions about COVID-19, feel free to reach out to myself or Karen, because if it's something that we even have to bring up the chain to the Chief Health Officer, Ben Beatty, we will be able to do that very quickly.
I guess also to make note is there is going to be an app that's going to be highly encouraged for all faculty and staff and students to utilize prior to coming to campus. And there will be communication coming out about that. It's called Campus Clear. With that, you will go through and mark any symptoms, or it will prompt you on a few other things. And depending on how you answer that, it will tell you if you are clear to come to campus or what your next steps should be. So I just want to make everyone aware of that. Communication will be coming out shortly on that.
Could I ask a quick question?
Go for it.
For us as employees, because we're going to be there pretty much every day, if not several times a week, my audio is like cutting in and out. Are we going to have to sign something every time we come in? Are we going to have a temperature check every time we come in? Or is it just like going through the front door, going through all of that mostly once, and then passing through? Like, I guess what I'm asking is, what does it look like for employees that are entering like every day into the rec?
Yep. Good question, Tab. So all staff, unless you're opening the building at 5 in the morning, every staff member should be entering through the front as well. And then you will need to sign a COVID waiver upon your first visit. After that, I would say that you just validate in at the front desk. That way we have you in rec track in case they need to contact trace. They might say who entered the building between such and such a day and time. That way your name pops up on the report. So I would say come in through the front, sign the waiver on day one, Day 2, you won't need to sign the waiver, but you will want to validate at the front desk, which will take all of about, hopefully, 5 seconds.
Cool, thank you.
I guess, Tabla, to add to that, you are, highly encouraged to self-assess every morning. The temperature, if you don't have that at home, that's what Dave had talked about, that those would be available in the facility if you would need to, assess your temperature. But that Campus Clear app is something that everyone's encouraged to do prior to coming to campus every day.
Sounds good, thank you.
All right, we're moving on to hear from Sandy real quick.
Okay, hey everybody. I'm sorry I'm not turning on my video camera. Having some connectivity issues here, but I am the thorn in the middle of all those very good looking men right there. So I look forward to meeting all of you. I am the Safe Communities Coordinator for the county, which means I do all the traffic safety for Wood County. We talk about why you need to wear your seatbelt, not driving drunk, all of that good stuff, which we'll get into more in depth. Right now is the national mobilization for Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over. And we're going to be having a press release on that on Friday. So if you're around on Friday to Worcester Green about 10 o'clock and you want to see how that kind of all works, we'd love to have you. Hobbies, gardening, cooking, canning, all of that good old stuff. Love to volunteer at my church and work with the kids. Do love seafood, anything chocolate, of course. I will say I'm not a fan of sushi. Ooh. But the new hibachi place in Bowling Green, people are raving about their seafood, or I'm sorry, their sushi, and their stuff is wonderful. I love to binge watch MASH, HTV, and Food Network, and right now I am binge watching all the hockey that I can get since it's on. Future plans or goals. Right now the goal is to survive 2020 with my program intact. A lot of changes going on. Monies are being pulled out of our pot of funds. My money's come from a grant from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. So there's a lot of changes going on. So I am hoping to have 2020 intact and be able to go on for next year. Additional fun facts, and those who have been around me since I've been here are going to be laughing hysterically, but I love working New Year's Eve. Hopefully we're going to be able to do it again this year, but every New Year's Eve, we provide free rides home to those who are in Bowling Green and don't have a safe ride home, who've had too much to drink. So I just love working New Year's Eve, and also OVI checkpoints. They are a lot of fun. You can meet some great people during that time. Other fun stuff that you're going to learn and try with me is my driving simulator and my Fatal Vision goggles. And fun fact for everybody that's new to the area, I know a lot of you have said you like to cook and do things like that, is we have a farmer's market every Wednesday from 4 to 7 downtown. And check it out. Right now it's great because you get all kinds of fruits and veggies and flowers and all kinds of stuff. It's the best time to go down there. So that's kind of quick overview of what I do. If you're around the rec and you're down administration, I'm down in room 103. I call it the Oval Office. You'll understand when you see it. But stop on down. Love to talk to you. Love to meet you all. And I'm going to turn off my microphone because there's a lot of sirens coming. So Lana, take it over.
Thanks. We're moving on to diversity and belonging with Faith.
Yeah, so just briefly, I wanted to talk about this topic. So diversity and belonging is certainly a very important piece of and part of the strategic plan, and certainly a part of the culture that we want to have at BGSU. So certainly that relates to recreation and wellness as well. So I wanted to let folks know that we do have a division of diversity and belonging. And in that picture there, you see our Chief Diversity and Belonging Officer, which is Jennifer McCary. So just kind of introducing you to her if you hadn't seen her before or didn't know that we had a division. So that division includes a variety of different things. So Office of Multicultural Affairs, LGBTQ plus programming, the Office of Title IX, the Center for Women Gender Equity, the Center for Violence Prevention and Education, leadership programs. So all of those things would be included in that division of diversity and belonging. So that division has several professional development opportunities. So you can head to their website and see all the various offerings that they have. We as a department will certainly be looking to do some trainings or workshops related to diversity and belonging as we move throughout the academic year, one specifically around implicit bias. So be on the lookout for that. But wanted to just introduce folks to the division and know that this is certainly an important piece of what we do. Delana, you can go to the next one there, which is disability etiquette. So again, just wanted to make folks aware that we do have the Office of Accessibility Services. Dave mentioned that earlier, but if you go to their website, you will be able to see that they have some virtual workshops on their accessibility website. I know that certain parts of recreation and wellness do require their employees to take that workshop. So, but certainly, you know, even if you're not required to do that, it's certainly a great thing to check out. They do a workshop once a month. They are virtual, so you can go to their website and sign up for that training. So just wanted to make folks aware of that office as well.
Thanks, Faith. We're moving on to student employee policies and the handbook. Julia and Dave, you're up.
Okay, I can't see the screen yet, but I've got it pulled up, so I'll just go ahead and
It's on its way. I'm
Okay,
sorry
no,
about
no,
the
you're fine.
delays.
You're fine. I've got it pulled up. I'll just go ahead and start. So the first thing on the slide when you are able to see it is just a brief overview of Connect to Concepts, which is essentially just the department's digital paperwork software. We're trying to go entirely paperless in our department. So this program allows for on-the-job task forms, filling out waivers, any other paperwork that you need yourself or your employees to get done. You can find right here on C2C. I know Lana puts a ton of hours in to have our department entirely paperless, and this is the app to find it. So you can access this in any area of the department that you work in, whether it be an app on the iPads that you're working with or your desktop computer. It's also accessible from home. I will say the only real way to feel comfortable with C2C is just kind of dive in and look around. There's a lot of information in there, but it's a really easily accessible application that is user-friendly. So if anybody has any questions on how to access or operate C2C, I'm happy to go over a quick overview sometime outside of this meeting. But again, I think it's a really user-friendly program that as soon as you get in there, you'll start to feel comfortable. And then just all students, GAs, and professional staff do have access to this program. So as GAs or supervisors, you do have the permissions to go in and create these forms on the job tasks for your student workers. Just a few highlights that are in C2C in addition to the form. So the COVID waiver is in there. That's as staff members, if you have not yet, that's where you can sign and access that COVID waiver. You can even do that prior to coming to campus. Like I said, it's accessible from home. And then you'll also find our emergency response plans in C2C, which is a big thing that your staff need to know prior to coming to work. They need to know how to respond in emergency situations. You can find that all right there in C2C. Moving on to RecWell employee manuals. So just very briefly, the student employee manual is basically just a comprehensive list of all of RecWell's policies that our student staff are expected to adhere to when they are on shift. That student employee manual is also found in C2C, and you can find that by searching student employee manual and the standard operating procedures. After your student employees have skimmed, read, gone over the student employee manual, they will then all be expected to sign the statement of understanding. that acknowledges that they understand their responsibilities and their expectations as staff within our department. So that needs to be done soon after, if not before, your staff come in to work their first shift. I typically have my staff do it on their very first shift when working for Recwell. So that's a very important piece with that. Hiring basics. So this process can take up to 2 weeks, longer than 2 weeks, depending on how quick you move and how quick your students move. So the first kind of step in hiring for your area is just to contact your supervisor and get that job posted on the university, like posted through the university. So after that job has been posted, I always then reach out to Lana and just have her mark it for that position for us. She can put it out on our Recwell website. She can put it on Instagram, social media, things like that, just so we can connect with more students on campus and let them know we are hiring in our areas. So after the marketing takes place, then you're going to have applicants come in, and those applications will go right to your email. So you'll be able to see all the applications coming in, and at which point you can start conducting interviews with your students. Obviously, things might look a little bit different this go around than usual. Those interviews may likely be on WebEx. I conducted a few WebEx interviews this summer, so it is doable. And then kind of the last piece is to submit an e-hire. If you have not done this, if you're an incoming GA, you're definitely going to want to get with your supervisor, your professional staff member. The first couple times you submit an e-hire is quite a bit of information that goes into those. So you'll grab that information and you'll submit an e-hire for those students that you wish to hire. And at that point, they turn in their student paperwork and should be good to go. But like I said, this process can take a week, 2 weeks, even more so than that. So if you see your staff's getting thin or you're going to lose some staff to graduation, I recommend you get on this earlier, sooner rather than later. So as Dave, I believe, alluded to earlier, we are now clocking in a different method than we have in the past. We're no longer clocking in on the clock-in stations that have been in your area with your student IDs. Actually, ITS came around yesterday, I believe, and turned all of those off in our facility, so you can't even access them anymore. The new way to punch in to work every day is going to be through what's called web clock, and that's done through your MyBGSU account. So you have to be connected to campus internet in some capacity, whether that be your personal cell phone or your personal device is connected to campus Wi-Fi. Or you're logging in and clocking into work from maybe a desktop at your workstation. But that has to be done when you're on campus. And like I said, that's done through your MyBGSU. I do have a link with screenshots and instructions on how to do this. If anyone's curious and wants to train their incoming staff on this, please reach out. I'll shoot that link over to you. And it's a pretty easy process once you do it once. We have been having some issues, however, my staff particularly. We contacted ITS, and I guess there's a little bit of a bug going on with web clock right now. So I envision that your staff too will have some issues. If you find your staff has issues, you can either contact ITS and let them know what's going on, or have your employees just email you their time, and you can manually input their time into their timesheet until this bug gets taken care of. And then lastly, so other tips for supervising students. I won't pretend that I am a master at supervising students, but there is 2 things that I've really noticed over my year, I guess, of experience supervising. And the first one is that you have to be consistent with your staff, consistent with your communication, consistent with your policy enforcing. That's the biggest thing that I've learned over my time, is just consistency is key. And then secondly, just to be understanding. I think it's easy for us as supervisors and as staff members to see all of our employees only at work and kind of lose sight of the fact that they do have other things going on in their life, and they're not just employees, they're also students and family members. So just be understanding with your staff, listen to them, hear them out, hear their concerns, and move forward from there.
Well said, Julia.
I agree. That was great.
Yeah, a couple other things from my perspective as far as supervising students. I think it's I think it's important to, as Bill was alluding to earlier with recruiting, when we hire an employee, I think it's important that we invest in them and they know that we're invested in them and that we take genuine interest in learning about them more so than just, they're performing work for you. By and large, we have a great student staff. I think we have some of the best students on campus that work for us. And I think it's the atmosphere and the culture that we help cultivate that keeps them here. Because largely, once someone gets hired in with Recwell, they typically don't leave until they graduate. So that being said, once they're in-house and we've invested in them, I think as supervisors, we need to be accessible and we need to be seen. So I know we all have work to do that sometimes puts us in our offices for long periods of time, but I think just being out and about and being present goes a long way. And the last thing that I'll say revolves around communication. And I know that for those who've worked with me before, I say this quite a bit, but when you're communicating with students, you can't assume that they know anything. So I always try to paint the picture when I'm communicating, especially in an email, because a veteran who's been around for 3 or 4 years is probably going to have a little bit better idea of what I'm talking about than maybe someone that's only been around a week or vice versa. But at the same point, I've come across times when even veterans didn't know some things that I would have considered pretty basic or upfront. So I just think really painting the picture and don't make assumptions that your staff knows already when you're communicating with them goes a long way. But again, I think overall our students are great. We've got a very solid student staff behind us, and look forward to getting the semester going.
Great. Thanks, Dave. It's on to my slide. I'll try to keep it as short as possible, but want everyone to know that I have been working at BGSU for 30 years. Yes, 30. Went to school here as an undergrad, so that's 4 years before that. And my family has really been involved at BGSU since I was born. My parents moved here. My dad was an accounting professor, and now my daughter has even graduated from BGSU. So 3 generations, highly involved in BG. So I love BG. I do want to also brag just a little bit that I was fortunate enough to attend Karen's very first body pump class when we first signed up. Licensed with Body Pump, Les Mills, and have been doing that class ever since and really, really love it. So thanks to Karen for introducing me to Body Pump. I love it, and I hope to just stay as active as I can for as long as I can. And that also relates to probably why I've gone vegan lately, and so love trying all kinds of new foods with all kinds of new ingredients, and just see how I can make things that I used to not consider eating into very tasteful things. I'm the lucky one who gets to talk about the discipline policy. Just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about that, acknowledging first right off the top that we have a discipline policy with the main purpose of really trying to provide extra education for our student employees. As Dave and Julia were talking about, we have to assume people don't know things when they first start working for us. We have this opportunity to teach them, and if they make a mistake along the way, to let them know about it. Again, communicate right away. Don't let things go on. Teach them about it and try to make them come out again on the other end a stronger employee for us, hopefully in the long run, and then a better individual as they move through our department and into their career. So that's the purpose of our discipline policy. The process is again, acknowledging right off the bat, people, when you first have to use the discipline policy, it's not usually a comfortable process. It's hard. You're supervising your peers. It might be a new role for you as a supervisor. It's definitely something you want to sit back and learn about and read about and ask lots of questions, maybe of your supervisor about before you go to jump in and start using the policy. Fortunately, I will say it's not used that often within our department. You have to discipline people occasionally in a formal way, but usually there's a lot of opportunity through training and just through that communication that you have with people every day where you don't have to institute something formal like our discipline process. So it is a 1, 2, 3 strike kind of process where people have a chance. Again, they make a mistake, you teach them about it, you tell them about it, you have a meeting with them. You set up a plan to improve behavior, and then you follow up with that person and see that the behavior does change and improves. Should they make mistakes again, there are those additional strikes. And of course, it's important to know the asterisk down there at the bottom. Sometimes strikes don't work. Sometimes some action might be so severe that there are no 1, 2, 3 options to do things wrong. It might be a reason to immediately dismiss someone. I'm sure you can think of some of those ideas right off the top of your head, things unfortunately that students have done occasionally working in our department, but that you can perceive that someone might do. Once students are working successfully without issues again after they've had a strike, they can deactivate strikes. They can also appeal strikes or termination should that happen through our student employee board. And even if they were to be terminated, they do all have the opportunity to reapply to work with recreation and wellness, either in the same area or in a different area. So again, if you feel you need to institute discipline process, definitely reach out to your supervisor or to me and ask some questions, and we will help you walk through it the first time. There are obviously information resources on C2C and forms that you can use when you're needing to implement the discipline policy. Now we're moving on to Gary.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I didn't realize there was a time limit, so I'll try and keep this to 45 minutes or so. I am from Findlay, Ohio, originally, born and raised. My work experience, I'm into my 41st year of coaching swimming. The last 37 years has been here at Bowling Green High School. I've been in the rec center since 1982, when it was a whopping 3 years old in one capacity or another. And hobbies are traveling with family and or friends. Favorite food is anything I can cook on the grill. I like it. Favorite movie, I don't really do TV, but my kids like to pick up movies for movie night. And I tell them whatever they pick is fine because I can nap through anything. Future plan and goals is to retire and live the dream. It's coming up here before too long. And additional fun facts, some of you already know, but I was a salvage and rescue diver in the United States Navy a long time ago. And basically that meant I didn't make the mess. I just had to go back in and clean it up. So nice to see everybody. Stop by. My office is always open.
Thanks, Gary. Next, we're moving on to risk management. And I know we only have a little bit of time left in our day, and we really do want to hear from our student supervisors. So maybe we can go as quickly as possible through the rest of our content, and we can do that as a priority. So Dave or Chris?
Yeah, I'll keep this brief. So there are a couple different reports that we fill out when we have potential risk management issues. And one of them is the BGSU accident report, which is something that's located in C2C. That report is used for bodily injury, and that's typically for patrons or guests, but also if a staff member gets injured, that is the form that we would fill out. This form is received by BGSU Environmental Health and Safety, so it leaves Recwell's. It leaves Recwell and goes across campus for review. There is also an incident report that's specific to Recwell that stays in-house, and that report is also on C2C, and that is more for a patron or a staff incident. Maybe it's a customer service issue or, you know, altercation, what have you. Basically anything other than bodily injury is when we would use the Recwell incident report. And again, that stays in-house. Also, when we notice things are wrong in a building that could be a risk management issue or just needs attention in general, we need to fill out a university work order. But I do not encourage staff to or students and graduate assistants to fill out those work orders, because those go directly to campus ops. And generally, we sometimes get hit back with costs on those. So before you submit something, just check with your supervisor to see if it warrants a submittal or not. But obviously, if it's late at night, you're doing a program and there's a huge leak or something like that, we need to just go right to the non-emergency campus police, and they can jump on that emergency for us pretty quickly. So I'll stop there and let Chris quickly touch upon the required certifications.
Yeah, so every month I will send an email to GAs or the head of a certain area, and it kind of outlines who under you and your staff currently is like CPR certified or is about to expire or is expired. Essentially, we ask that all staff are CPR certified. Any new staff, we want them to have that certification within the first 30 days of their start date. So those classes that are coming up, like I said, the first month we'll probably have one every week, and then after that, probably once a month. Really try to get those new staff in those classes so we can have those certifications up to date. It is tracked through C2C, so anytime you have a new staff member, make sure you put them in C2C and have their certification uploaded if they have one, because if they're not there, then I can't tell you they don't have anything. So, yeah.
The next topic up is harassment prevention. Faith?
Yep. So just wanted to briefly touch upon this. When the slide comes up there, you'll see Lakeisha Dowlin. She is the director of Title IX and certainly the Title IX coordinator for BGSU. So if you're not familiar with Title IX, it goes back to 1972. It's a federal law that protects people from discrimination based on sex in education programs or activities that receive federal financial assistance. And certainly that would be us receiving federal grants or federal financial aid. So we need to comply with the regulations around Title IX. So just wanted folks to know or have information about how to get a hold of that office. And I wanted to also point you to the See It, Hear It, Report It report that you can certainly find on the Office of the Dean of Students, also on the website for Title IX as well. And so that report, you can not only report Title IX types of issues, but bias issues. If you have, someone you're concerned about, all sorts of things are put into that See It, Hear It, Report It report. And so just wanted to make sure folks knew that that was available.
All right, we made it. So we want to get around to hear from each one of you student supervisors real quickly. Feel free to tell us whatever you would like about yourself under these circumstances. For sure your major though and what area you're working in. Maybe we can start with Kelly.
Hi, I'll try not to take too long, but my name is Kelly Hayden and I am the Wellness Connection student supervisor. I previously worked as a Wellness Connection attendant as well as was a camp counselor last summer and spring break. My current major is social work with a minor in psychology. And once I graduate, I'll go to get my master's, but then my dream job would be to work in a pediatric hospital or just something with helping kids.
Awesome. Melissa, can you help by calling on the others who are on the call? It would really help me. I can't see everybody's name.
Sure. How about Lauren?
Hello. Can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure. I haven't been unmuted all day, so just want to make sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Lauren Andrews. I am the fitness student supervisor. I've been working in this position since the spring semester of my sophomore year. I'm going to be a senior, so that's exciting. My major is HDFS, Human Development and Family Studies. I have a minor in psychology. Kind of like Kelly was saying, dream job is somewhere in the wellness field. So I have a dream to create a facility where people can come in and get all kinds of wellness help, kind of like the Thrive program that Karen was talking about, all in one building. So that's a big dream. Let's see, I enjoy dancing on the side. So I'm a part of University Dance Alliance, which is a club on campus. And then just something to make you laugh. So if we were going to have to do everything that all the professional staff had to do, I was going to say this, but I teach fitness classes for the rec center and we were doing Instagram Live. And so I don't know if you can tell, but I am nannying a baby. I'm not sure if you can hear him in the back. But my first ever day with this little boy, I had to teach fitness class online. And so of course he didn't go to bed. He went to bed a half hour before my class, woke up before my class started. And so I thought that he was going to sit in his chair just fine, laugh the entire time, just kind of have a good time. Well, of course, he started to cry because he got very hungry. And so I picked him up. I was like, I'm going to chug on through my fitness class. It's going to be great. And what I ended up doing was having to hold him while trying to show inchworm push-ups. And so if you know what that is, you have to crawl down on the ground into a push-up, walk yourself back up. So if you want to laugh a little bit, go to the Instagram TV of the BGSU Fitness Instagram and go ahead and watch the video of me teaching my total body burn class with little baby Wyatt, and hopefully you'll laugh a little bit. So Karen even texted me before this and she was like, hey, I want to see some inchworm push-ups with baby Wyatt while you're on the call. And I said, you got it. So just a funny story for you.
Thanks, Lauren. How about Jason?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, well, my name is Jason Molinero. My major is marketing. I'm the Perry Fieldhouse student supervisor. I worked at the Fieldhouse for, I started about 8 months ago, and then I got promoted, so I started as an associate for 8 months, and then got promoted to student supervisor, and I've been working for that for 6 months. My future goal is to get 2 dogs, preferably German Shepherd and a Golden Retriever, and work possibly in social media marketing somewhere. I love watching sports, including football and basketball mostly. I do enjoy watching New Girl as well. And just a fun fact about me is I enjoy watching professional Call of Duty. And that's about it.
Okay, thanks, Jason.
Yep.
How about Faith Wilter?
Hello, everyone.
Hold on. There you go.
We had to do a little bit of finagling with the computer, so bear with us. Hi, everyone. I'm Faith Wilker. I'm one of the 3 aquatic student supervisors here at the rec. I'm from Versailles, Ohio. My major is business marketing. A fun fact I'll do first, I'm allergic to cold water. My future plans is to be going to something with analytics. My favorite food is El Zarape. Of course, love that food. I hope I didn't forget anything.
Thanks, Faith. You're allergic to cold water. That's interesting in your profession. Okay, let's go on to Jenna.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm Jenna Pelkington. I am the aquatic supervisor along with Faith and Richard. I'm a junior in HDFS as, I don't remember her name, but she was in HDFS as well. My goal is to use this major to become an occupational therapist and work with peds when I am out of graduate school. My goal is to graduate a year early, so I started in as a sophomore my first year. I've been with the aquatics since the summer before my first year, and then have worked myself up into being student supervisor. And a fun fact would be that I worked 3 jobs this summer, and I did 3 summer courses along with that.
Thanks, Jenna. We might as well go with Richard, the other aquatic supervisor.
Hi, everyone. I'm Richard Sizer. I'm originally from North Churchill, Ohio. My major is currently information systems. I hope to go work in Florida after I graduate. One of my goals is to actually own my own boat. And a fun fact about me is I love to wakeboard.
Thanks, Richard. I actually went tubing for the first time 2 weeks ago. It was very thrilling.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. How about Haley?
Hello, everyone. I'm Haley Zavichinsky. I am the marketing student supervisor. I'm currently a senior studying visual communication technology. I'm from Perrysburg, Ohio. My favorite food is probably mashed potatoes. In my free time, I like to draw and do tons of artsy things on my iPad. And a fun fact about me is that I'm also the Coca-Cola campus ambassador.
Great, thanks, Haley. How about Zach?
Hey guys, I'm Zach. I'm the customer service supervisor for the rec center. I'm a sport management major, incoming sophomore. One of my goals is to graduate and work for a sports team, whether that's at the collegiate level or professional level, in their athletic department. And a fun fact about me, I guess, is my parents met on a shift at the rec center, so got rec center blood in me, I guess. So
Well, that's interesting. Wow.
yeah. But
Thanks, Zach. I'm not sure if Seth is on here. Seth, are you out there?
Hi, I had some technical difficulties today, but I've been listening the whole time. Can you hear me, Melissa?
I can. I can see that you're Julia.
Yeah, I am. So I've been with Recwell for 2.5 years now. It's my second full year, going to be a supervisor of facilities at the rec center. I study supply chain in the College of Business here at BGSU. My dream job would be to work for DHL someday in Columbus, which I'm supposed to head there after school, so that's pretty exciting. And then a fun fact about me is I am an ordained minister in the state of Ohio, and I actually performed my first wedding this weekend, so that's kind of fun. So thank you.
Thanks, Seth. All right, Lana, that's all the student supervisors. Lana, we cannot hear you. You're not muted either, so I'm not sure, but we can't hear you. No.
Can't hear you, Lana, but I think I'm just gonna go because I think you're talking
Yes.
about me.
Yes. Thanks,
Okay,
Tab.
so I'm gonna wrap this up as tightly as I can for y'all because I had a lot longer thing planned. But Student Employee Board, also commonly referred to as SEB, so if anyone here is SEB, that's what it is. So all student supervisors are automatically a part of SEB and they get paid for the meetings. So attendance is mandatory at all of the meetings, and there's one per month. And we're going to talk specifically, most likely it'll be held virtually. But we're going to be talking at our first meeting, which will be set up within the first roughly 2 weeks of school. So you guys will be getting several emails from me, and we'll be setting a group meet for that as well. You're responsible for holding a position on SEB board and completing your position responsibilities. I know that you can ask Seth and you can ask Lauren and a couple other people. Sometimes you might be wearing more than just one hat on SEB, so I'll be talking about that in a little bit. So some of the leadership roles on Student Employee Board are President, Vice President, Purchasing Committee, Event Committee, Fundraising Committee, Service Committee, and then Marketing and Social Media Committee. We're going to go through that way more in depth in our first meeting, and I'll probably also be sending you guys an email of all the specifics so you guys have an idea of going into the first meeting, what you're kind of looking out into being for on SEB. So our mission is SEB exists as a voice for student employees within recreation and wellness. The goal of SEB is to provide opportunities for professional development and growth for all recreation and wellness student staff. SEB is a voice of student employees that aims to sustain leadership amongst all levels of employees, and it focuses on the example its employees set. So I'm going to give you guys some goals of what we're going to be trying to achieve. So first of all, like I said, we're going to be assigning leadership roles at the first meeting of the semester. Don't stress out about anything, guys. I'll fill you in. I'll be advising you guys. So you guys will get the information. I just don't want to overload you too much at this exact moment. So you guys are going to be doing hopefully another leadership training a day this semester, and I'm going to get those online specifically just because I want to make that as accessible as possible to all students. Next, I'm going to send you guys out a poll for the first week of school, and I'd like you guys to complete that hopefully by like next Friday so we can get a regular meeting time set up. And at the first meeting, we're going to be planning out for the rest of the semester all of our meetings for SEB, because I don't want you guys to stress or forget about it until last minute. So we're going to be really proactive this semester. So like I said, we're meeting regularly once a month. I'll be holding office hours via WebEx, Zoom, FaceTime, or in person. I'm going to be in the rec this semester, so I'm going to be in one central location. So I'll be giving you guys information on that as well. Your job is to communicate with rec employees at large, and I'll be sending out weekly emails and announcements for that. So if you guys hear anything, just send it over to me, and I can send it out on a weekly Friday email. Next thing we're going to be doing is community service as a group together. We're going to discuss this, if this is going to be online or in person, and just iron out those details later. Next, we're doing fundraising, and that'll be ironed out more in the meeting as well. And then the other biggest things that we do are the end of semester and end of year banquets that are organized by our SEB board. And we'll be starting far in advance, so just so everything's done on time and no rushing until last minute. And then I want to move over to RecBucks. I'm also pulling up a document that I'll be sending you guys. It's a PDF. So RecBucks is an incentive program for student employees and can be given out by professional staff, GAs, student supervisors, etc. And it's recorded on our Excel document on our share drive. I'll be looking for a new way to give out RecBucks digitally actually within the next 2 weeks. Just because I want to make sure that even though some people are working remotely, or if they are working in the rec, we're trying to minimize contact as much as possible. I wanted to know if anyone actually had any stories about giving out some rec bucks before we get into specifics. Karen, Faith, Lana?
I think given our time, we'll just buzz right through it unless someone wanted to share something.
You're good. And then just last thing, so there's $20, $15, $10, $5, $1, and $2, and we'll go through the meeting, what that constitutes and like what you can do to receive a rec buck. But we're trying to encourage you guys in the awesome job that you guys do.
All right, I want to thank everyone for sticking with us for just these last couple of minutes here. We do have just a couple other things to talk about. I wanted to really quickly go over some of our marketing and communication standards and processes, just so you're familiar with what we do. We do have a marketing standards guide, and there will be a link to that, and there is a link to that on C2C. Guess top level, most important thing for you to know is that we do want you to help market your programs, but it's very, very important, and it will be especially important this year to make sure that all of our communication is very consistent, very reviewed, very approved, and very, very university branded, making sure that we are following all of the university standards. So the marketing guide does go over that. It talks a lot about writing standards, what words to use, what words to avoid. It also talks about the BGSU colors and logos and all those branding types of items. So in most cases, most of the marketing that you do is going to run through myself and the students that work with me in the marketing area so that we can take care of a lot of those things for you. But we're going to need you to be the ones getting the programming all together and getting us all of that content. There's a lot of places where we do market. The major locations would be our website, of course, is always the base location for all of our permanent information. Although I say permanent, it's the best place where we can change information when we need to and quickly so that it's always current and up to date as well. We also have our brand new Club Sports website where we're able to promote those over 500 students that are athletes in the competitive side on the club sports side of things. We do a lot of things through the BGSU mobile app. You can download it if you haven't already through either the Google Play Store or through the Apple Store. Campus Update is another really great resource that we have to get information out. It's what you see in your email very regularly. It'll be daily once the semester starts. Campus updates are another thing that we love to have you all write for your program, but especially as you first get started doing it, it'll be really important to run it through the marketing office to make sure that we are using the best language and that we're including all the details that we need to include. We put items on the campus calendar. We have all of our programs and policies and things up on our 4WIN screens, which are the TV screens that you see throughout the rec and in the Fieldhouse lobby. Of course, we have tons of print materials, although definitely fewer this year given the COVID situation, and signage that you see in our buildings and other things like large format items and so forth. And of course, also be just a reminder that personal communication is a really great way to market one-on-one is really a way that I think a lot of people like to hear about things and feel confident in starting up programs and participating in things on campus. I also provided, just really quick here, a list of all of the different social media accounts that we manage in the department. A few of them are run through the students in the marketing area, and then the rest of them are managed primarily by all of you out there in your various program areas. We have a lot of standards for how to write and what to do and what not to do on these accounts as well. And again, we'll share all this information out because we really encourage you to be an advocate for all of our programs by liking things. That really helps with our numbers and it helps with the exposure, sharing things and retweeting them onto your accounts so that your friends can see all the great things that you're doing. Definitely telling your families and your friends back home about what you're doing as well has really helped us be able to get the word out to a broad sampling of people in the area. So we made it to the end. I know it was a little bit rushed there, and we appreciate, again, everybody sticking around for these last few extra minutes. Any staff member have any questions or feel there was something else they wanted to share with this large group while we have everyone together before we finish up? I guess that means no, or else I just can't hear you because of the delay of the technology. Melissa, can you hear me? If anyone else have any questions, or if that's it, we can be done.
Lana, I can hear you. I'm not sure if anybody has any questions or not.
Well, I'm going to run with assuming that the answer is no. There are no questions, but I do, again, everyone know there is a ton of information that we tried to really cover in a very short period of time here. Please look to your supervisor or any other full-time staff or returning staff member if you have questions. You know, be assertive, be ready to act on things, but also be smart and ask questions when you need to before you take action when you feel like you might need to. I think we're very confident everyone's going to do a great job this year, and we're very much looking forward to seeing you and sharing the year with you. So thank you again for coming.
Hey, Lana, I know that you recorded this. Will you be sending it out to everyone so they can review it if they do want to listen to something again or if they had difficulty hearing it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I'll be working with Melissa, who was the host of the meeting. We'll get the recording up probably on YouTube somewhere in a link that'll just be able to be shared with our staff so people will be able to watch it.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for reiterating that. Yes. Are there any other last minute questions? All right then. Thanks everybody. Thanks for putting up with the technology. We'll see what the year brings with other meeting platforms. And again, we look forward to seeing you and to your service for the year. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. See you soon. Thanks, Lana.